Before I get started, I just wanted to tell everybody, I'm not starting yet. Today is Ash, if you haven't already noticed, today's Ash Wednesday and it signifies the first day of Lent. You go to church and you receive ashes on your forehead. It sort of signifies your repentance to God. So that's why I have ashes on my forehead today. And it's not toner or ink or whatever. All right. The best part of waking up. Good to the last drop. Juan Valdez. Chances are you probably know the common theme here. Fellow Roastmasters, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about that wonderful concoction, that brown liquid produced from the roasted seed of the tree of Arabia, coffee. I'm a fellow coffee drinker, and chances are many of you are coffee drinkers. But not only do I drink coffee, I roast coffee. And I think it's quite comical when people look at me as though they didn't hear me right. You roast coffee? Yeah. Well, how in the world do you roast coffee? Well, before I get to that, let me tell you how I started drinking coffee. Like many of you, probably drink a pop in the morning, might drink coffee, or you might drink Folgers, or whatever you might drink in the morning, trying to get your pick-me-up. I used to drink Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew is my pick-me-up. I love Mountain Dew, and I can drink Mountain Dew all day long. But I started getting headaches if I didn't have my Mountain Dew. It just wasn't healthy. So I thought, let's try to switch to something different. I tried tea. Tea just didn't do it for me. I like tea too, but it's not a morning drink for me. So I tried coffee. And like many of you, you go to the office and people are drinking coffee out of the coffee pot that's in the break room or wherever it might be, and it's Folgers or Maxwell House or whatever it might be. I don't like Folgers or Maxwell House. I just think it smells bad, it tastes bad. I know it seems kind of snobbish, but that's just how I am. So I started drinking things at the grocery store, like Dunkin' Donuts. 8 o'clock, coffee. There's Broadway Cafe. There's Roastery. All good coffees, very good coffees. Then one day, a friend of mine, he approached me. He had this mason jar full of coffee. I said, "Oh, thanks. What is it? Is it a Broadway or Roastery, whatever?" It's Panamanian. I'm like, "Okay, where'd you get it?" "I roasted it." And me like you, "Well, how in the world did you roast coffee?" So he told me all about it. I took it home. I was so excited to try it. This morning, made coffee. It was phenomenal. Loved it. So I was hooked. At that point in time, expensive hobby number 28, I needed to roast coffee. So I did a lot of research. And I found out you could actually roast coffee on a cookie sheet in the oven. So I gave it a try, and the results were okay. Well, maybe not okay. Not only that, when you roast coffee, it produces a tremendous amount of smoke. And my oven was just rolling with smoke. Smoke detectors going off everywhere in the house. I don't advise roasting coffee in your oven, but it can be done. There's another way I found out. It's the whirly pop. The little, it's like a metal pot that you put on your stove top and you turn the handle and it's for making popcorn. Well, it does a really good job actually, and it's a cheap way to introduce yourself to roasting coffee. But I always wanted a coffee machine or some kind of dedicated roaster that would actually do that for me. Then one day, my sweetie, she bought me on Valentine's Day a coffee roaster. I was so excited. Came with coffee, and so I got to work. And coffee roasting is kind of an interesting process in itself, and I'll explain that to you real quick. You load up your machine, and I've got a machine. It looks like a toaster oven, and it's got, instead of heating elements on the top and bottom, it has 2 heating elements in the back. And it rotates in front of a metal drum, and it roasts your coffee. And so you load it up, turn it on. and the coffee starts to roast. Now first it turns tan, and then it goes to light brown, then it starts to turn brown, and then it starts to pop. It pops like muffled popcorn sound, but it doesn't jump around in there. It's all it's doing is the beans actually expand from the moisture that's still trapped inside the dried coffee beans, and they expand and pop this chaff or a skin that's on the coffee bean itself, and that's what's making the pop sound that you're hearing. It's called first crack. But you can keep going, and in the coffee roasting process, you're done with first crack. Once you hit the end of first crack, you get to a roasted level called city, and that is a drinkable coffee. You can't really drink coffee before you get to there, but once you get to city, that's a drinkable coffee. It's a really light roast, and a lot of coffees are really good at that city level. Ethiopian is a coffee that I really like at that level, but a lot of coffees I buy are from Central America. I really like Nicaraguan, Guatemalan, really like all different kinds of coffees from Central America. And they like to go a little bit darker. So you keep going with the coffee roasting. The machine's still heating the beans. They're getting a little bit darker, a little bit hotter, and you get to City Plus, and we're talking 30 seconds to a minute, then full City, which is where I like to stop. And then the next stop in the coffee roasting process is second crack. Once you enter second crack, you're starting to get a little darker, and it brings out a little oil in or on the coffee bean itself. You can see the oil, the bean, or the oils on the bean get a little shinier. The second crack is a physical cracking of the coffee bean itself because it's starting to get really hot in this machine. It sort of sounds like pouring milk over a bowl of Rice Krispies. It's a snip, snap, kind of crackle sound. If you keep going, you're at the Vienna level. The next stage is French roast. By the time you get to there, you're talking charcoal, and you better stop the roasting process. Otherwise, you're going to get a fire in your kitchen. So stop drinking the pop. Stop drinking the Folgers. Find something that you like that actually tastes good. Go online like I did. Buy a machine. Buy green coffee beans. Roast your own coffee and enjoy. Because the best part of waking up is your own roasted coffee in your cup.